Hi, this is Ferris from Wood Library with my friend Bernard and some bedtime stories just for you. We're going to start off tonight with a nursery rhyme that you'll probably know, but I love the illustrations. So Bernard's going to just sit over there while we read about Old Mother Hubbard. This is a version by James Marshall. The full title is Old Mother Hubbard and Her Wonderful Dog. James Marshall also did the illustrations, and this is published by Farrar, Straus, and Giroux. And you know how it starts, right? Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to fetch her poor dog a bone. But when she came there, the cupboard was bare, and so the poor dog had none. Oh my goodness, do you see who's in there? Somebody beat them to it. She went to the butcher to buy him some bread. But when she came back, the poor dog was dead. She went to the undertaker to buy him a coffin, but when she came back, that poor dog was laughing. Just a little joke. She took a clean dish to get him some tripe, but when she came back, why, he was smoking a pipe. She went to the fishmonger to buy him some fish, but when she came back, he was licking his dish. She went to the tavern for white wine and red, but when she came back, that dog stood on his head. She went to the fruit stand to buy him some fruit, but when she came back, he was playing the flute. She went to the tailor to buy him a coat, but when she came back, why, he was riding a goat. She went to the hatter to buy him a hat, but when she came back, he was feeding the cat. She went to the barber to buy him a wig, but when she came back, he was dancing a jig. She went to the cobbler to buy him some shoes, but when she came back, he was reading the news. She went to the seamstress to buy him some linen, but when she came back, that dog was a-spinning. She went to the hosier to buy him some hose. Those are socks or stockings. But when she came back, he was dressed in his clothes. The dame made a curtsy. The dog made a bow. The dame said, "Your servant." And the dog said, "Bow wow." I like the way he illustrates them. Well, let's do the finger play that we all know about dogs, but not that kind of dog. Can you show me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers? And they're going to all be hot dogs. I've got 5 little hot dogs. They're cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. So 4 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 3 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 2 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 1 little hot dog is cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and the one went bam. So now no little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and the pan went bam. Well, keeping in with a food theme, we're going to be having this story that's called Jamie O'Rourke and the Big Potato. It's an Irish folktale written and illustrated by Tomie DePaola, and it's published by Whitebird Book, which is a division of G.P. Putnam. This is Jamie O'Rourke. Now, Jamie O'Rourke was the laziest man in all of Ireland. He would do anything to avoid working, especially if it had to do with growing potatoes. "Jamie O'Rourke," his wife Eileen would say, "we'll have nothing to eat this winter if you don't go out and dig up the paddies." That's what they call potatoes. "Oh, the saints preserve us," Jamie would whine. "Me back's as sore as can be. And sure as I'm telling you, wife, you'll have to dig them up yourself. I'll break in two if I so much as get up out of this bed." So Eileen, who had done all the planting and watering and weeding anyhow, would go out to the tiny garden and dig up the smallest potatoes in Ireland. You can barely see them. And it was all because Jamie was too lazy to dig a larger garden and had no money to buy good potato seed. Then poor Eileen wrenched her back and was laid up in bed. Oh, St. Bridget and Virgin Mary herself must have smiled on Eileen O'Rourke, the village women said. Why, it's the first rest she's had since she married Jamie O'Rourke. Well, with Eileen in bed, Jamie began to worry. No Eileen to dig up meant no pratties for all winter, and no pratties meant no food. Oh, poor me, wailed Jamie. I'll starve to death. I'd best go to church and confess to Father O'Malley. There's no telling how soon old death will come knocking on my door. So even though it was midnight, Jamie set out for the church in his nightshirt. He was about halfway down the hill when he heard singing and a tap-tap-tapping sound. Well, sure, and I wouldn't be knowing, Jamie whispered, but I swear it's a leprechaun. And sure enough, sitting in a circle of ferns in the moonlight was a leprechaun singing and hammering tiny nails into the heels of fairy boots that he was making. Well, Jamie knew just what to do. He crept up and grabbed the little man by his coattails and held firm. "Let me go! Let me go!" the leprechaun shouted. "Not on your life," Jamie said. "Not until you show me where you keep your pot of gold." Now, everyone in Ireland knows that leprechauns make boots and dancing shoes for the fairies, who pay for them with gold. And everyone knows that if you catch a leprechaun, he'll pay for his freedom with his pot of gold. But this leprechaun was more clever than most. "Oh, please, Mr. Mortal Man," he pleaded. "I'm just starting out making fairy shoes, and I have only 1 or 2 pieces of gold in my pot. Won't you be taking a wish instead?" "Why, what would I wish for?" Jamie asked. "Me, who's about to die of starvation because my wife is sick in bed and can't dig the pratties up for winter. And they're such puny pratties anyhow." Remember, those pratties are potatoes. "Well," said the leprechaun, reaching into his pocket, "you could wish for the biggest pratty in the world. It would last all winter and you wouldn't have to do anything more than plant this seed, water it, and weed it." Well, that sounded wonderful to Jamie. "Done!" he shouted. As the leprechaun dropped the seed into Jamie's hand, Jamie let go of his coattails and off that leprechaun scampered. Now, when Eileen heard what he had done, oh, she was furious. "Jamie O'Rourke, you not only the laziest man in Ireland, but a fool as well, giving up a pot of gold for a pratty seed." "Well," said Jamie, "I'm going to plant this seed and water it, and you'll see." That's what he said, and out he went to do it. And faith, Eileen did see. In no time at all, the biggest, finest potato plant had sprouted out of the ground, followed by the potato itself. And it was so big, it pushed up not only all the dirt in the garden, but the garden shed and the corner of the cottage too. "Well, surely now it's ready to dig," said Jamie proudly. So he hoed all around it, but he couldn't dig that pratty out of the ground. So he got a log beam and a big rock and tried to pry it out. He pushed and he pushed, but it wouldn't budge. And as he was pondering what to do, his neighbor passed by on his way to the village. Why, he couldn't believe his eyes. He couldn't wait to tell everyone in the village what he had seen. And before you knew it, up the hill to Jamie's house came everyone in the village. Why, every villager was coming to see that big potato. Where did it come from, they asked. And Jamie told them about the lucky night he'd caught a leprechaun and how smart he had been. Why, anyone could have gotten a pot of gold, he bragged, but the biggest pratie in the world, why, that took some doing. However did you outsmart the leprechaun, they all asked at once. And Jamie hesitated and then scratched his head. Well, we'll help you dig up your pratie, Jamie, if you'll tell us how you did it. And they all grabbed shovels and hoes and started to dig. They dug and dug, and then they pushed and they shoved until the potato flew up out of its hole and rolled down the hill faster and faster until it reached the bottom, where it bounced high and then came to a stop, wedged between the stone walls on either side of the road. Why, that pratie is so big that no one, no cart, nothing can get by it, the constable complained to Father O'Malley. How's a body going to get in or out of the village? What shall we do? The villagers wailed. And then they all looked at Jamie and said, It's your pratie. You'll have to move it out of our way. Well, Eileen spoke up, there's more than enough pratie for everyone. Why don't you all take some? So the villagers sawed and chopped and carted off huge pieces of potato while Jamie sat on the wall and watched. And all winter long, everyone had potato to eat and eat and eat until no one wanted to see or hear of potato again. In the spring, Jamie said, I saved a potato eye for a seed, and it's just about time to plant it. Oh, no, the villagers all cried. If you promise not to plant it, Jamie, we'll promise before St. Patrick and all the saints to see that you and Eileen always have plenty to cook and eat. We don't want another giant pratie around here. Jamie smiled and agreed. What a perfect life for a lazy man. And so you see, darling Eileen, Jamie told her, I wasn't such a fool with that leprechaun after all. And Eileen had to admit that Jamie O'Rourke was right. And as for that leprechaun, he still has his pot of gold, and it was filled to the top. Well, can you shake, shake, shake your sillies out, shake, shake, shake your sillies out, shake, shake, shake your sillies out and wiggle your waggles away. And can you clap, clap, clap your crazies out, clap, clap, clap your crazies out, clap, clap, clap your crazies out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out, stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out, stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you stand up? And can you jump, jump, jump your jiggles out, jump, jump, jump your jiggles out, jump, jump, jump your jiggles out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you yawn? Yawn your sleepies out, yawn. Yawn your sleepies out, yawn. Yawn your sleepies out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you shake, shake, shake your sillies out, shake, shake, shake your sillies out, shake, shake, shake your sillies out and wiggle your waggles away. Well, Jamie got the better of, well, I don't know if he got the better of the leprechaun, but I think they both made out pretty well. Our next story is about a little girl, and it's called Kiss the Cow. Would you kiss a cow? I'm not sure I would. This is written by Phyllis Root and illustrated by Will Hillenbrand, and is published by Candlewick Press. Now, Mama May lived where the earth met the sky, and her house was as wide as the prairie. And it needed to be. Mama May had so many children, she couldn't count them all. Among Mama May's children was one called Annalisa. She wasn't the youngest, and she wasn't the oldest, but she was the most curious and the most stubborn. Now, every day, Annalisa followed Mama May as she carried her 2 shiny pails to the pasture, where she kept Luella, her magic cow with the beautiful brown eyes and bright curving horns. And every day, Annalisa heard Mama May sing to Luella, "Lovely Luella, your milk never fails. My children are hungry, so please fill my pails." And every day, Annalisa saw Luella's warm, sweet milk flow into the shiny pail, and Mama May sang, "Thank you, Luella, my children shall eat cheese fresh and yellow and milk warm and sweet." And every day, Annalisa saw Mama May kiss Luella right on the end of her velvety brown nose. "Ugh!" said Annalisa. "Imagine kissing a cow." Well, every day, Mama May carried her pails of milk home to feed her hungry children. 1 pail of milk they drank for breakfast, and the other pail of milk Mama May heated and salted and pressed into cheese for the children's supper. Cheese so fresh it squeaked between their teeth. And every day, Annalisa wondered, what would it be like to milk a magic cow? And the more she wondered, the more curious she grew. And the more curious she grew, the more Annalisa just had to know. Finally, one day she said, "I want to milk Luella." "Oh, never you mind about milking Luella," said Mama May. "If you upset her, she'll never give milk, and then what would we do?" But Annalisa had made up her mind. She took a pail from her sandbox and she sneaked off alone up to the pasture. And just like Mama May, Annalisa sang, "Lovely Luella, your milk never fails. My children are hungry, so please fill my pails." And Luella's milk flowed into Annalisa's little pail until she sang, "Thank you, Luella, my children shall eat cheese fresh and yellow and milk warm and sweet." Now, this wasn't exactly true, of course, but magic words are magic words. True or not, they worked. But did Annalisa kiss Luella right on the end of her soft, silky nose? What do you think? She did not. And the next day, Luella would not give milk at all, not any, no matter how many times Mama May sang her magic song. And it didn't take Mama May long to figure out what had happened. "Annalisa," she cried, "have you been bothering Luella?" "All I did was milk her with my little pail," said Annalisa. "And did you remember to kiss the cow?" asked Mama May. "Me? Kiss a slobbery, bristly cow?" cried Annalisa. "Oh, you must kiss the cow to make sure she gives milk again," said Mama May. "Never," said Annalisa, and she wouldn't. Well, that day, the children ate scraps of bread without any milk for breakfast. "Now will you kiss the cow?" asked Mama May. "Never," said Annalisa. No kiss, no milk. And that night the children ate crusts of bread without cheese for supper. "Now will you kiss the cow?" asked Mama May. "Never," said Annalisa. No kiss, no milk, no cheese. And the next day Mama May's house was full of hungry, crying children. Well, the hungry children crowded around Annalisa, and there were so many children they crowded her right out of the house and up the hill to the pasture. Milk, they begged. Cheese, they pleaded. Now will you kiss the cow, asked Mama May. Never, cried Annalisa. Never, never, never. Moo, said Luella, putting her nose in Annalisa's face. Ah, said Annalisa. But when she looked into Luella's beautiful brown eyes, she wondered, what would it be like to kiss a cow? And the more she wondered, the more curious she grew. And the more curious she grew, the more Annalisa just had to know. There was only one way to find out. Please kiss the cow, asked Mama May. Said Annalisa. But then she scrunched up her eyes and bunched up her face and kissed Luella. Luella smelled of fresh hay and sunshine and clover, and her nose felt silky and warm and dry. And Mama Bay sang her magic song, and oh, Luella's milk began to flow, and the children cheered, and Annalisa felt so fine. Well, whether you believe it or not, she kissed the cow again. And I'm glad she did. And so were her brothers and her sisters and Mama May. Well, what other finger play could we do today, do you think? Let's see if we could do the one about the ducks. Can you put up your 5 fingers and pretend each one is a duckling this time? And your other hand will be a mama duck. 5 little ducks went swimming one day over the hills and far away. Mama duck said quack, 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 but only 4 little ducks came back. 4 little ducks went swimming one day over the hills and far away. Mama duck said quack, 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 but only 3 little ducks came back. 3 little ducks went swimming one day over the hills and far away. Mama duck said quack, 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 but only 2 little ducks came back. 2 little ducks went swimming one day over the hills and far away. Mama duck said quack, 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 but only 1 little duck came back. 1 little duck went swimming one day over the hills and far away. Mama duck said quack, 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 but none of the 5 little ducks came back. So the sad mother duck went out that day over the hills and far away. Mama duck said quack, 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 quack. And all of the 5 little ducks came back, and Mama was so happy to see them, she gave each one of them a great big kiss. And the ducklings, why, they gave her one back. Well, let's see, we've had a cupboard story, and we had one about a potato and one about milk. Shall we have some dessert? How about some gingerbread? This is a story by Janet Squires and illustrated by Holly Berry, and it's called The Gingerbread Cowboy. You might know the story, but not this version. Once upon a time, in the wild, wild west, there lived a rancher and his wife. And every morning, just as the sun was coming up, the rancher saddled his horses and fed the cattle while his wife baked biscuits. Biscuits with butter, biscuits with honey, biscuits with jelly. Oh yes, those breakfast biscuits were plump as pillows, soft as clouds, and as tasty as a big Texas barbecue. Then one day, just as the sun was coming up, the rancher's wife decided she was tired of making biscuits. So she measured and mixed and made some gingerbread dough. She rolled that dough out flat and cut it in the shape of a boy, but not just any boy. He had boots on his feet, he had a hat on his head, and he had a big belt buckle made of spun sugar. He was a gingerbread cowboy. She took raisins, candies, and nuts and gave him 2 bright eyes, a laughing mouth, and a cowboy vest with fringe. And then she put him into the oven to bake. "Oh, I sure am hungry for biscuits," said the rancher, leaning over and sniffing the rodeo-romping good smell coming out of the oven. He opened the door to take a peek, and as quick as a flick of a cow's ponytail, why, out jumped the gingerbread cowboy, and he ran out the door as fast as his boots would carry him. "Whoa!" shouted the rancher. "Come back!" cried his wife. But the gingerbread cowboy just laughed and said, giddy up as fast as you can. You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man." He jumped over a horned lizard that was gobbling up ants, and he raced away as fast as his boots would carry him, until he came to a roadrunner. "Oh, I was about to have a lizard for breakfast," said the roadrunner, "but I think I'll eat you instead." Well, the gingerbread cowboy just laughed and said, giddy up as fast as you can. You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man." And he wriggled through the corral fence and he raced away as fast as his boots would carry him, until he came to a band of javelinas jumping and munching on cactus pads. "Gingerbread!" shouted the javelinas. "Yee-haw!" Well, the gingerbread cowboy just laughed and said, giddy up as fast as you can. Why, you can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man." And he galloped past a big prickly cactus, and he raced away as fast as his boots would carry him, until he came to a herd of long-horned cattle grazing in a field. No more grass for us," they all cried. "We want gingerbread." But the gingerbread cowboy just laughed and said, giddy up as fast as you can. You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man." And he ducked between their legs and raced away as fast as his boots would carry him, until he met some hungry cowboys on the range. The cowboys yelled, "Stampede!" They wanted gingerbread too. Well, the gingerbread cowboy just laughed and said, giddy up as fast as you can. Why, you can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man." And he turned down a canyon and raced away as fast as his boots would carry him, until he met a coyote who was napping in the sun. Now, the gingerbread cowboy was feeling mighty pleased with himself. "I've run away from the rancher and his wife, the roadrunner, the javelinas, the longhorn cattle, and the cowboys," he bragged. "And you know, I can run away from you too." Well, the coyote smiled. "I don't want to chase you," he said, "but I can hear those folks coming fast, and there's a river just ahead. Why, hop on my tail and I'll take you across." "Oh, I can't let them catch me now," said the gingerbread cowboy. So he hopped onto that coyote's tail. The coyote splashed into the river and began to swim. "Oh, it rained last night. The river's deep," he said. "You better get on my back so you won't get wet." So the gingerbread boy climbed onto the coyote's back. Well, by now, the cowboys and the longhorns, the javelinas, the roadrunner, the rancher and his wife had all arrived at the edge of the river. The rancher's wife took out her lariat and swung a loop out toward the gingerbread cowboy. "Quick, stand on my nose," said the coyote. So the gingerbread cowboy jumped onto the fox's neck. Fox is the coyote's nose. Ha ha ha, shouted the gingerbread cowboy as the lasso fell short. They missed. But I won't, said the coyote. And he tossed that gingerbread cowboy up into the air like a flapjack on a griddle. And then he swallowed him in one gulp. And that was the end of the gingerbread cowboy. Until they made another one. I bet he tasted pretty good. Well, let's see. I think, let me check my watch here. I think we better get our bubblegum going. So reach in your pocket. Pretend you have a pocket if you don't have a real one. And pull out your piece of pretend bubblegum. Unwrap it. And pop it in your mouth. Chew it up until it's all soft and squishy. And then we can do something disgusting with it. Here we go. Okay, put out your hand, spit your gum in it, 1, 2, 3, and clap your other hand on top. So now your hands are stuck together with sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your knee. Do you want to leave it there? I don't. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your nose. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your arm. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your chin. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your back. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on mom or dad. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your toe. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum. Time to throw it in the trash. All right, let's have our rhyme tonight on the flannel board. And for this one, we're going to need a tree. Take a little more over this way. What do you think? Well, one little squirrel went out to play up in the branches one autumn day, and he had such enormous fun, he called for another little squirrel to come. Hey, squirrel, come here! So 2 little squirrels went out to play up in the branches one autumn day. They had such enormous fun, they called for another squirrel to come. Hey, squirrel, come on up. So then 3 little squirrels went out to play out in the branches on one autumn day. They had such enormous fun, they called for another squirrel to come. Hey, squirrel, come on up. So another one came up. 4 little squirrels went out to play up in the branches one autumn day. They had such enormous fun, they called for another little squirrel to come. Hey, squirrel, come on up. So 5 little squirrels went out to play up in the branches one autumn day. They had such enormous fun, but they all scurried home before winter could come. And that's why you'll see the squirrels being very busy right now getting ready for winter. When we're going to get ready for our last book of the night, we always finish with a book by Sandra Boynton, and tonight it's called Jungle Night. This is published by Workman Publishing. Well, it's nighttime in the jungle. The moon will surely rise. All the animals are sleeping and whispering and sighs. Listen to the tiger, zee, zoo, ha. Listen to the cheetah, chee, chee, ha. Can you hear the crocodile? Snorkel-oo, snorkel-oo. And all the little monkeys, chatter-choo, chatter-choo. Wee grunt, go the Red River hogs. Brop, roppet, brop, roppet, go the green jungle frogs. The dazzling bird makes a long, quiet coo. And the great big gorilla goes hee, hoo, hoo, hoo. But sometime after midnight, the elephant goes snore. And whoever had been sleeping isn't sleeping anymore. But I hope you'll have a good night's sleep and that you'll come back and hear some more stories with Bernard and I next week for Bedtime Stories from Wood Library. We'll see you then.